So after declaring Warmachine dead and in the ground, some dedicated people out there have committed themselves to proving me wrong, which I'm happy to be wrong about Warmachine after being unfortunately right about it for many years. So we got some big news today. I'm Chris from Lords of War Games and Hobbies, and I honestly, we're still going to do a video on Wednesday with Jay because those are a bit more fun and there'll probably be more jokes and laughs then. But I just wanted to get out ahead of it and talk a little bit today about the big announcement of Warmachine being purchased by, I should say, Privateer Press really is being purchased because it's more than Warmachine. It's Iron Kingdoms. It's all the other subsidiary things like P3 Paints and all those things have been purchased by Steamforged Games. So I don't know if I actually went on record saying that I predicted this happening. I'll have to go back and check, but I had told a bunch of people that I was expecting this in the last couple months, hearing some rumors, and to be honest, after meeting the Steamforged guys last year and then seeing them again this year at one of the local trade shows, it was starting to make a lot of sense to me that this would be a sort of like a course of action that they would pursue. So what are my initial thoughts as a hobby shop owner putting my little game store hat on? Well, they've got their work cut out for them. That's putting it mildly. We'll get into the real thick of the weeds on that one, I think, over several videos. But the state of things right now is that as far as most of the hobby shops that I'm aware of are concerned, is it's no longer a product on the shelves. It's a product that they've recently had to liquidate, blow out, put in a discount bin, or slowly just sell out over time and not restock. The distributor level, so if that's happening at the reseller, the distributor level, same thing. They have products that they can't move, and usually, they just kind of sit on the books and they have to write them off or just destroy them at some point. So that's the state of where we're at. In terms of the brand of Warmachine, there's a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this. I think it is a very strong brand still. I think it is worth money. I think it is worth Steamforged Games buying. The Iron Kingdoms is an awesome setting. I really like the kind of steampunky kind of vibes. There's not too many people that have been wargaming for like a couple decades that didn't get into Warmachine and try Warmachine or Hordes or one of those games at one point. So that's kind of where my thought is. It's a very strong brand. In terms of a retail product, it's obviously the worst state possible. It's almost like it's worse than not being in stores. It's not in stores, and the owners and people that do the product sourcing have the not too distant memory of it not selling. So these are some hurdles that Steamforged Games are going to have to get over if they're going to rehabilitate this into anything like it was before. But we haven't heard much from them. We don't know what their expectations are for the product. We don't know what their plans are. So I don't want to jump the gun too much. I just kind of want to kind of talk about my initial thoughts and reactions. My first thought about what are their intentions. Well, I can't help but blend in what I hope they do. So I'll answer that in the sense of like, what would it take for me to want to carry this game in my shop? And I think what I would love to see, which I think is the hardest path ahead for Steamforged Games, which might be why they don't take this route, is I think they have to kind of blow it up completely. I think they have to basically drop a nuke on what they would call Warmachine Mark IV or whatever. As much as there's people out there enjoying it and playing it, I think if you want retailers to pick it up again in some form, I think you're going to have to acknowledge that there's too much of a memory attached to its current form, and it's going to need like almost like a complete rebranding and teardown to become an attractive product again. I would like to see Steamforged Games develop new models and like basically like a new product line from scratch. I think, to be honest, the Warmachine designs are far overdue for that anyways. They have some great designs, but they kind of suffered from this sort of weird modeling stagnation where they were kind of fit to a theme and they were like sculpting them with newer sculpts, but like to an old style, which I get that some people liked, but I think it didn't necessarily keep pace with some of the modern designs that you see with like Corvus Belli's Infinity and obviously Games Workshop being the number one example of that. And I think there's a great marriage there if Steamforged can pull off what they do with their like vinylly pre-assembled plastic, whatever you want to call it. Board game plastic is like kind of what we just refer to it as in short form at the shop. They do the best version of that, I think, in the industry. And if they can do that material for Warmachine models, I actually think it's a perfect fit. And I think if they can deliver that quality of product with some great new sculpts and designs in the format that they're kind of putting out, this new like epic encounters and local legends stuff, where you get like these beautiful miniatures that are ready to go, but you get like, you know, your rules and stuff all packaged in there, like really beautifully done. I think that has a lot of potential to succeed as a product in stores. And I know that would be what it would take for me to, you know, strongly consider carry it in the shop and actually investing money and time into it. Another thing is, and I do believe that they're capable of this, they're going to have to develop multiple pillars for this game to stand on. It can't just be a balanced competitive experience. It has to have a hobby pillar. It has to have a collecting pillar. It has to have multiple pillars to stand on, so that when things are unstable and maybe there's a period of time for a few months where it's not the most balanced game and the gamers are upset, well, you still have a bunch of happy hobbyists that are potentially, you know, painting models, enjoying that part of the hobby. That has to fundamentally be there this time from the start. And I think Steamforged is a company that understands that, because they, you know, it's from guys that like were in the community and loved Warmachine and are hobbyists themselves. So I think, and they do a lot of D&D stuff now, which is like a pure hobby thing, right? So I think that is a fundamental aspect of this revitalization. Those are my kind of initial thoughts. I'm excited. I think this is a really good step. I think Warmachine, for those of you that love the universe, love the models, I think you can be really happy that it's being handed off to a couple of guys and a company that legitimately loves it. So that's pretty cool. That's not always the case. And I'm very anxious and kind of excited to see what they say they're going to be up to. And of course, I'm not envious of their position of having to do all the work to revitalize the brand and kind of re-win people back. But like I said earlier in the video, I hope they do the necessary things, which might be the hard things, which is sometimes you have to be willing to upset some people that have collected your game in the past in order to open it up for a new era and potentially new people collecting it for the first time. Ultimately, the people that are going to be getting into it for the first time or whatever are going to be the people that are going to be buying it in stores and supporting your brand going forward. So I hope that they have that mentality in their mind, and that it's not just a revitalization project for the people that have miniatures and have been collecting it for years, which, you know, not to say that those people aren't worthy of having this happen, but they're going to still be able to use their models. So they're still going to be able to play whatever version of whatever comes out. But the new stuff has to be for the new customer in mind, I think, at least. So what do you guys think of the news? What are your first thoughts about Steamforged Games buying Privateer Press's IPs and products? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? What questions do you have for us? Because we're going to do a couple of like more full-length videos discussing this topic and how it's, what our thoughts are and how we think it'll impact retail and that sort of things. But tell us in the comments, and I'll try to bring those up later this week in the video. Thanks for watching the initial thoughts, guys. Take care. Cheers.